Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to my Druid Archer Let's Play featuring Araelas, the Be-Antlered Bosmer, and a bear who needs no introduction, Bjorn. Some appropriate thunder strikes there for the all-powerful Bjorn. Okay, so what happened last episode? Well, Araelas decided to go ahead and take on the first in his targeted dragon priests. He felt an overwhelming darkness coming from the west, particularly from Valthum up here, an old dragon priest temple/burial ground. And Araelas proceeded to run through the place like a giant, glowing, golden, holy wrecking ball. He had absolutely no problems getting through the whole thing. In fact, he seems to be quite the bane of the undead. And that's good. So what else did we do? Off camera, I went ahead and sold off a bunch of loot and did some spring cleaning in our inventory. And Araelas has followed the signs of the forest to this particular place, which he feels is a source of love and life and familiarity. And he's going to need a friendly entity for what he has planned. Now, this is the place he's been led to by the forest. And the reason why he came here is because he grabbed Hevnerak's staff and Hevnerak's mask off of the Lich's remains. Now, Hevnerak spent many years, probably hundreds if not thousands of years, with these items. And Hevnerak, being an extremely dark entity with lots of power, I would think that magical artifacts like these, who have been wielded for so long by such a powerful dark entity... Oops. Did not mean to put that mask on there. By such a dark entity, I would imagine that some of that entity's essence would be sort of irreversibly entwined into these items. So now these artifacts have some dark power of their own after all that. So Araelas is going to try to stash them away in a safe place. Now we're seeing a Spriggan here. Something tells me that this isn't the most powerful entity here. So I think what we're going to do is, for now, we're going to go ahead and drop a hidden hunter's cache here. And we're going to place in this cache these dark artifacts. And we're going to hope that the Spriggans that have taken residence in this place will help to guard and protect it. Now, another part of this is that any adventurer or hunter or haphazard adventurers that happen upon this place are going to see the Spriggans, and if they happen to defeat the Spriggans, they're going to see a magical skill book here and this treasure chest, and they're going to be distracted by that. They're going to loot that, they're going to look right past this hunter's cache, and they're going to keep going. Now, this is just a temporary solution to these. I have a more permanent solution in mind, and I'll get to that sort of once we've gathered all of the artifacts from all of the dragon priests. So we're going to sort of enlist the Spriggans, the guardians of this. I kind of want to call this a place of significance for the Spriggans. There's a bit of a sanctity to the place. Araelas doesn't know exactly what these brigands are either protecting or drawn to over here, but he feels a significant light energy, holy energy of life and love coming from this place. So there's significance to it, and he's hoping that the power of light that's here will help suppress the power of darkness that's in those artifacts, at least for now. So before we get started in earnest here, I just wanted to address a couple things here. I think once Araelas is done exterminating all these dragon priests and thwarting their plans to resurrect the dragons, I'm going to go ahead and call a close to the Araelas series. And the reason for this is mostly because I am ready to wipe out my Skyrim install and do it over. And there are certain new mods and updates to mods that I'm already running that I want access to going forward. Specifically the updates to XP SME, the extended skeleton, for certain dual wielding options and draw animations and things like that. I'm also wanting to get access to race menu, so I can customize these characters even further, and just certain other little things that the newer versions of SKSE and the mods that use that new version of the script extender kind of address. It will only help me create better character concepts and better content in the future, and I'm just getting the itch to start over and have access to some new tools. So there's that. But first I wanted to get through the Araelas series and kind of bring it to a close. We also have the new Chemical Whispers series, which I want to start up, and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to take that one on just yet, or I'm going to wait for my reinstall and start it anew. Now, all that said, I've already been keeping in mind, I already have some changes in mind that if I were able ever to do this character concept again, certain things that I would add to the load order. And things that I would do to flesh out this character concept just a little bit more. Namely, have access to alchemy. I would probably use CACO, or the Complete Alchemy and Cooking Overhaul, in order to expand the pool of available ingredients that Araelas can use as dictated by the Green Pact. There are a lot more alchemical ingredients and stuff that you can get from animals and even people that don't show up in the vanilla game without that mod. The other thing would be Anision's new religion overhaul, the Winter Sun mod. I think would work really well with this character concept. And so that would be like an Araelas Series 2.0, I would want to say. So the more I think about what I can do with newer tools that I don't want to sort of corrupt the current series with, but things that I could achieve with a new install and updated mods, the more I get excited for that. And the more I get excited for that, the kind of less I value what I'm currently doing. Now I'm a firm believer in not just leaving things hanging, so I really want to get through these Dragon Priests, and then we'll move on from there. Once I do get all the mods that I want installed, there are new character concepts that I'm very much looking forward to exploring. There are... I need to keep up with Blodius's story. That's something that I'm really eager to move back to. And even things like revisiting Alucel. There's an Alucel 2.0 that I've been making notes on too, that I am really eager to get into practice, to really see on the screen and in the game. So there's all that. A lot of exciting stuff coming up. But the first order of business is killing these Dragon Priests. So with that said, Araelas is feeling even more dark intent coming from Western Skyrim over here. So we're going to follow where the forest is pointing us, and we got a lot of travel coming up, so I will probably cut the recording here and see you outside the temple of our next Dragon Priest target. Otar the Mad was never interested in politics, power, or progeny. In his youth, he spent most of his time pondering art, music, and architecture. This greatly angered his father, a high-ranking priest in the dragon cult, as Otar was heir to his station and legacy. Life for reluctant loyalty can be trying. His parents constantly pressured him to marry and have children, though he had no interest in women. But he was able to get through it with the help of his assigned assistants and closest friends, Sarek and Torsten. Otar did eventually take his father's place, despite his hesitation. Feeling overwhelmed, he retreated further inward and was largely absent from public view, earning the reputation among his subjects as the Mad Priest. He relied further on Sarek and Torsten for all of his needs and most of his duties as ruler. They seduced him both physically and emotionally, persuading him to take on a lavish lifestyle, and soon draining the coffers of the Ragnvald hold. It was this that led Otar to the path of greed, and it was this greed that opened his soul to corruption. The seduction by Otar's friends was carefully orchestrated by the other dragon priests and his own father. Sarek and Torsten were strategically placed in Otar's boyhood as agents in his father's employ. Exhausting his hold's resources, he was forced to lean heavily on assistance from the other priests, until he was little more than a puppet. Soon after, Otar finally accepted his fate and embraced his role as a dark priest of the dragon cult.